What the fuck?
Salutations! Keeping the Exe-Create side of things, and as I feared with the 3D sprites, we've regressed back with things feeling lacking, but not in an unplayable mess. I'll get a bit more detail on that for my review of Alphadia Genesis. Game takes place 15 years after a war ended with the use of energy and clones, which is just a lazy term for man-made constructs. Like humans, but not humans. So a peace treaty was signed between two kingdoms, and the clones could just live in peace as long as nobody or they themselves weaponize. We open to our hero being summoned to investigate a murder, and we got little sis character, and she's packing heat. An actual gun in this place instead of castles and labs. Yeah, melding medieval and future again. Even less than Seek Hearts, because the ratio is more like 85 or 90 to 1510 in favor of medieval over future. Like, I think even the labs are just like either like a cave or just a castle building or something like that. Not too much super futuristically looking. Like you might spot like this cryostasis pod or whatever. So you investigate the first lab and accidentally uncryosleep a clone to get party member number 3. This game gives you 6 characters overall, but you can only have up to 4 at a time with these 3D games, so the other 2 party members beyond that are support. There's a gauge to do assist attacks, which take no magic to use as a trade-off. Spend no MP. And the yells, which are basically the term for passive boosts. Main guy and little sis, for example, can increase their mind stat by 10%. I stuck with the later characters, Knight Guy and Big Bandit Guy. Together they give me a 50% chance to get a back attack on enemies, securing victories that much easier. Man, these cracked walls are very easy to overlook. Usually the entire wall looks different, not a small tiny crack sometimes that you can sometimes make out. If you need more map, L1 will zoom out so you can see more of the level in like dungeons. R1 zooms in so I can find Alphadia Genesis points. Yeah, no map, by the way. You just gotta... But yeah, those Genesis points... Clicking the X button around the walls of dungeons, maybe this tree in a town, or a barrel, or desert in some village will have it. The only means to get those points, so yeah. Skulking around it in a finite number, too. Not cool. Especially after this many of games where we've always been able to at least grind somewhat. Hell, the last 3D game you could like redo boss fights and get like a fraction of points. It wasn't much, but it was something. Best have a walkthrough handy. We've gone back to the find all 220 treasures for a trophy, which considering most are in these tiny cracks, you'll have a time just skulking around dungeons to find them all, like hugging walls and hitting the direction. I'm like, can I slip in here? Can I slip here? Ooh, I slipped in. Okay. Alright. Now do I go up, down, left to right? Another set of trophies will ask you spend 2 million in gold, doesn't matter how, so feel free to be less hoardy about your money. You'll make plenty in grinding to get your weapons. You don't need to build them up at all. Weapons, items, instas, even the money you spend to take on the mid cups, all of that counts, so you might get this by accident. Use your energy first to get all the trophies on that for using magic before you go to your second option, your character-specific skills that mostly overshadow the magic, especially late game. Woo. I recommend at least more than one of your party members take a light ring. These you can actually build from like stones and like just plain rings. You can actually like go into towns and use that to like build up rings and then collect more stones to power them up further. Also a finite number. I know the rings you can spend mid coins on. I'm not sure about the energy stones themselves. You can probably do that too. Either with the mid coins or the points. I'm not sure which. Hopefully the coins. Those you can at least still grind. How the final ones gives you like, I think, 800 to spend. Just do that over and over again. Word to the wise, your party will sometimes split like once or twice throughout the whole game and shuffle about when the plot demands, so take the time to level up everybody in the party. Which wouldn't be too bad, because, well, the spells you'll need to learn with the 3 elements, you need active party members to level that up. Everything else you'll get just by playing. So even the guys who are in reserve will just level up too, same way. No experience split As far as I know, everyone was keeping about the same level here or there. Maybe like 1 or 2 people would die and just like lose out on some XP. But I don't think it was split anyway. Reserve characters only get like a fraction of this XP. None of that, thankfully. I recommend getting enough points to buy the Condition Earrings 3 for 150. I had found enough points for 2 sets of these. I put one on main guy and one for the third party member. Very useful to have on your heaviest hitters. A lot of the, I don't remember the last 3D game off the top of my head, but it's that thing again where it's like, here's all these accessories. A lot of them have like a downside to them. Like this will boost your attack by 60%, but lose control of your character. Or auto swoon. Swoon is the term that all these games use for death. I don't know why they call it swoon. Swoon, I think like, oh, swoon. It's the weirdest thing. I've been doing this for a while, came off, came back. I don't know if I mentioned the term swoon, meaning death. Yeah, you can insta-death. Auto-swoon, they call it, instead of insta-death. So, while not a quick platinum, the game is simple enough to roll through. Simple rather than easy. Like, even at max level on the true final boss, I got a case of bad luck with one of its attacks, rending your entire party's HP and MP to 1, and also putting most of my party to sleep, especially the ones that could fix that, and we're back to some bosses getting multiple turns. Final boss included, so yeah. Had to just hit the old retry button. It's like, okay, let's try this again and hope for something better. If you have 100 extra points lying about, you can always revive and continue from that point, but again, for me it was a non-option because the points are finite. You can't grind them out. You gotta search for them, and they only give you like 20 for each one, by the way. Story's the best aspect of this, I would say. The characters, one's a take or leave type. I did use him too much. They're starting to not really stand out as much, especially this game from other Exe-Create Kemco titles. Like, how many of these have I done so far? This one's very meh overall. I think I'll just slip this right under Fern's Gate as this game goes 17th place, currently out of the top 23. Either this was an older game with the very noticeable lack of point options and the zero means of items to show hidden paths and a treasure-telling item, or if it's not an older game, man, did you really regress. This game does sequel bait, and we get that game about 5 or more games down the list. I hope the sequel actually corrects the term clones for the non-human constructs, like just changes the name, I wouldn't mind it. Something better. Like, what are they clones of? I get they're trying to, like, replicate humans, but the only, like, clone only comes off, like, once in the entire game. I don't know. To me, it just comes off lazy at best and derogatory at worst. Like, oh, they're just clones. They're not real humans, you know what I mean? So, yeah, hopefully they come up with just a better umbrella term for them than just calling them clones. Didn't vibe with that at all. That's also why the rating is low as it is, and just slightly less fun than I had with Fern's Gate from what I remember. But the next game's another from Exe-Create. Looks like we're combining the usual sprites with hit points way of doing battles a la Dragon Quest. So we'll see if that's a good mix or not with Liege Dragon. So until next time, take care, and thanks for watching.